Darby, what's going on? It's here after years of talking. My name is Ragni, and the guy next to me, and I did it right, the one and only, my brother from
Chris
another
Kelly.
money, Chris Kelly.
What's up, my brother?
What's
How
going
you,
on, everybody? Welcome to the Delco Driven Show.
what's up, Delco? And everybody outside of Delco, how you doing?
It's pretty crazy how, and this is the truth. Two kids who met 40 plus years ago on the schoolyard in St. Alice in Upper Darby, and
Seventh
here we are
grade.
today.
That's right. We've made a video about doing this. I looked at it today 5 years ago, 2017, said we'd do something like this. And sometimes it just takes the right time to do stuff, right? So here we are 5 years later, and glad to do it. Glad to be with you, my brother. We'll try it as a pilot thing, see what's going on. Life's busy, work's busy. But we love connecting with people, right? And that's what we're doing here. And I love connecting with you. So, brother to brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk. We were trying to figure out what would be a fun, cool topic on the first episode, and for some reason I kept suggesting and going back to this because I thought we could have a nice tie-in. Would be like, remember back in the day of shopping in places like the Bazaar, the Granite Mall. There's still the Springfield Mall, but a place that's very close to both mine and Chris's heart is the whole 69th Street shopping district, and of course the balcony, which in turn one of the co-owners, Mike Smith, released a book last year, My View from the Balcony, and I got to say, if you haven't read it or bought this book yet, get it. It's probably one of the greatest books I ever read in my life of all time. It's truly an eye-opening life that Mike has lived. And he's going to be coming on here in about 10, 15 minutes, and we're going to talk all about the balcony and 69th Street and all these other places. But Chris, out of besides 69th Street, 'cause I'm sure that's your immediate memory of a kid going shopping. But beside that, what other places do you remember, like your
God,
earliest memory?
there's so many, right? And it depended what you were shopping for, right? So the balcony is a legend in itself. I'm sure we'll talk to that with Mike. But I remember in grade school, right? Your parents would take you to Clover and Clifton Heights, right? Or Havertown, like getting the Garanimals, God, the Garanimal clothing. I hated that. The elephants and alligators on them and everything. But
You had to match them up.
I'll never forget it. Or Kmart. You would go to Kmart in the 80s to get your little flannel shirts and your nice thermals that went with it. But as you grow older, like again, you were in a phase for the stuff at the balcony, I guess in your teen years. And this is, we're talking 70s into the 80s, if anybody out there. But then, on my time on Dancer on Air, sometimes I need some more fancier, flashier clothes, right? It was more like rock and roll at the balcony, but I could go up the street to 69th Street and go to, I think it was called like City Blue, and I get my two-tone jeans, right? And the leather tie I used to wear with a little
Oh, the skinny ties,
metal
yes.
bow clip.
Yeah. I remember
I wear
those.
them all the time, and I'd get matching shirts to go with the two-tone pants. I can't believe I'm saying that. There was another store that opened up called the American Pants Company up the street, if you remember that.
Yes.
There's so many stores. And if you lived in Delco, I'm sorry, I got to throw this in there too. As a kid, there was Buster Brown's, there was Tiny Town on 69th Street. But my parents, they would take me to, what is it called? I just lost of it. It's actually on as you go down Garrett Road,
Okay.
across from 69th Street. There was a Richard Shoe Store, if you remember that one.
Yes.
And they would give you a big blue balloon when you left. And so it depended on what you needed. You could always get it in Upper Darby. Or, actually, I shouldn't just say that. Delco, Clifton Heights. Everybody had something somewhere, but it wasn't too far, right?
And that's the thing, like, for me growing up, because my mom didn't drive, all I really knew was 69th Street. And then once I started driving when I turned 16, and your friends in high school and all, they're like, oh, let's go to the mall. And I had known about the Bazaar at times, from family members taking me there, but I had no idea of the Springfield Mall or even the Granite Mall, 10 minutes up the road. It was like when I went there, like when I started driving, it was like a whole new world had opened up in front of me, and I didn't realize these places even existed.
That's why I love watching shows like Stranger Things, and they go into the mall, the shopping malls, because that's kind of like what it was like, right? You
Yeah.
could go in. I can remember there'd be Spencer's in the mall. There'd be Chess King, which is another place I
Yeah.
go to get my clothes for dancing on air. Gosh, Merry-Go-Round was a store. I don't know if that was only in Philly, if they had one in the mall, but a lot of stores like that, right? And you can just go and meet kids hanging out. Today, you go into the mall, sadly, in one of those malls. Well, Granite Run's pretty much gone. The
Yeah.
Springfield Mall, I mean, my heart's still there, but when I go in there, half the stuff is closed. And I'm wondering, how are these stores going to come back? Will they come back? Will the shopping mall that we know, come back to life? And I don't know, because everybody's shopping online most of the time these days, right?
Right. You know what's weird too? Like I was even thinking, um, uh, the last 20 plus years I lived in Delco, I lived 5 minutes from Granite Run Mall. So when they closed the mall, and they said their plans were they were going to knock it down and then rebuild like a little walking shopping district. And I thought to myself, that's kind of stupid. Like I couldn't understand and grasp, like, why would people want to do that but not go into the mall, the Greater Mall, like this kind of like legendary place of Delco history. And like for a while I couldn't like really like grasp it. But then like as we were putting this show together for tonight, I was thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. 69th Street for how many decades has basically been a walking
Yeah,
shopping district that attracted thousands each week.
yeah. It's true. I have relatives that told me, and they're coming from Atlantic City, mind you. Atlantic City is like 2 hours, an hour and a half away from 69th Street, and they would come up there and shop in the 50s and 60s. So I love hearing those stories, and I love like looking at these pages on Facebook where they talk about 69th Street
I
and the
love it.
terminal, and you see these pictures going back to like early 1900s, right? It's like,
Yeah.
my God, that's so cool. You didn't think about it even existing then.
Well, how about I think there was where the AA field was on 69th Street. I've seen like old pictures where people said there was like a circus there or something.
I've heard that. I've seen some pictures too, like all of 69th Street, different holidays, like a big shoe with a slide in. I'm not talking like a
Hmm.
big shoe. I'm talking like 40 feet high, right?
Yeah.
Or a big Easter bunny on wheels. It's just as tall as a house. I'm like, we didn't see that stuff,
No.
but it
No.
was there before we were. So I think that's just fantastic. Another store just popped in my head on 69th Street, Sneaker City. Do you remember that? Ed's Sneaker City? Radio Shack. Sneaker City was down the street from Mario and Gino's. Great pizza, by the way.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Another
yeah,
legend.
yeah. Okay. Now, all right. Yeah, Dental Market Street. Yes, of course. All right. I was thinking. I remember when Fava opened on 69th Street
Flavor.
next to Fidelity Bank. It was like I remember my mom was like so excited. Like I was like, oh my god, okay, great, this is great. Like Fava, and I went in there. I'm like, all right, now I have a place to get my Chuck Taylors and my Keds. Like,
Mm-hmm. That was cool. Or even like there's still a McDonald's in 69th Street, but it's up the hill, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
anybody who's watching, again, it's not from Delco or Delaware County. Google 69th Street Upper Darby on Facebook and look at all photos. You'll find a zillion of them. It's just historic to us. But before this, McDonald's was up the hill. At the
hmm
bottom of the hill, if you remember, was a McDonald's. And again, I'm going back to the 70s. They had an actual McDonald's land. For anybody who knows
upstairs.
what that is, yes, you can hang
I had
out
a
with
birthday
Grimace,
party
sit on
there.
a cheeseburger chair, and I wonder why they stopped. I think that was great, But
Yeah,
memories, man, memories.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now, I got to tell this story because
Sure.
it was like so funny and something that stuck with me for years. And I always tell this story to people. When remember the free bus on 69th Street would take you from down the bottom of the hill up to the top, the gimbals, and it would like run
Kind of
like
remember that. Yeah.
yeah.
hmm
I'll never forget. I was with my mom outside of Lit Brothers,
hmm
waiting for the free bus, and I think Lit Brothers at that point had already closed, but it was me, her, and these two older women. I mean, they were probably in their 60s or 70s, and we were standing under the thing, and this bird crapped on one of the old ladies' heads, and I was like, like trying not to laugh, and my mom was just like, "Oh my," and the woman's friend said to her, Well, that means good luck. And this woman was so pissed off. And I'll just never forget. I can still picture that moment. So whenever I think of the Free Bus or Lip Brothers, I always think of those two women getting crapped on.
Some may 69th Street's crappy, but say we still love it.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now, part of especially for us the whole shopping thing on 69th Street, and even whether you're in the mall, going into the malls or the bazaar, a very important thing you need to do when you are shopping is you need to fuel up and get some food. So there was always some good pizza around. And on 69th Street, you had your Mario and Gino's, you had Leandro's.
Yep.
In the bazaar, I'm trying to remember what the pizza shop was in the bazaar. I can't remember the name, but I used to love that place when I used to work there.
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
I remember it. There were so many stores in the Bazaar. So, guys, there's a documentary on the Bazaar, too, if you're watching this and don't know what that is. I recommend watching it if you're curious about old stores. You could just walk in there, and it was like, was it Bazaar of All Nations it was actually called? And you walked in, and it was so different than a mall, but it was kind of like a mall, right? It's like I would say how would you describe it? Like a pilot program for a mall, right? Wasn't as nice or as fancy, but you had everything in there, right? T-shirt stores, jeans stores, frame stores, toy stores.
Yeah.
I said toy stores. Pretzels. Remember the pretzel stand? Was
the pretzel stand. Bernie's Pretzels, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolute. That's funny. A pilot store for a mall. But actually, the funny thing was, it's like a Boost Corner, like a farmer's market.
Yes. True.
And that's what the bazaar was, but I never realized that till I was older and there was no more bazaar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was sad when it left. I also, there was a putt next door to it, right? So as I got brave in my teen years, there would always be girls there, right? You go in and say, oh, I can meet a girl there. Never worked out like you planned, but
no,
you can go and play putt golf and have a fun time.
Absolutely. Good times always at putt-putt. Right? Oh, yeah.
Hangout, yeah. Cool
Too
stuff.
funny.
One of my wife's first jobs was at the McDonald's at the street from the bazaar. McDonald's stories again. McDonald's everywhere.
McDonald's was
Colleen,
everywhere.
If you're watching, I remember you telling me that story.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. That was her first job.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't know that. Interesting.
And she sold pretzels. I think she even sold pretzels in the bazaar too. It was maybe her second job.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Little history on Colleen. Interesting. Okay. All right. She's True Delco.
True
Delco. Well, speaking of True Delco and a legendary place in Delco, he's patiently waiting. Let's get him on here. You might remember him if you came shopping in that legendary store that he's wearing the shirt of, the Balcony, which was down on Market Street across from the terminal and changed so many of our lives. Here he is. Now he's you might be buying houses from this guy. You could be buying books from this guy. He's Mike Smith. Mike, welcome back to the show. Welcome back into my life again. It's so great.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey Mike, how are you?
Very good.
I love that shirt, man. I love
Thank you. You know, when you were talking about the bazaar, I think the bazaar was a project that was trying to copy something called Jerry's Corner. I don't know if you remember Jerry's Corner.
Yeah.
It was in South Philly at the Passyunk Avenue or something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they had a dirt floor. I don't know if you were, when you would go over there, it was dirt. Yeah.
Wow.
But I think the bazaar came like 5 or 6 years after Jerry's, and I worked in the bazaar for like 6 years, so it was a lot of fun.
No kidding.
You'd walk into the bazaar, you'd smell the pizza, and then you'd smell those cinnamon buns.
That's it, the cinnamon buns. Yes,
I remember that.
Yeah, they're the best.
So now, it's funny. Like me and Chris were talking earlier with the Balcony. Like the sad part was when you guys closed up, there was really nobody that ever took over that spot.
No. I think for a short period, somebody took the front for phones, like Metro phones or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't think anybody went to the back of the store.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I get sad when I go by there. It's really a sad thing.
I wonder if the landlord that took over that was raised the rent kind of kicks himself in the ass. Like, I had these guys that were there for years, and I knew they would have been dependable tenants, never to worry about. And
Yeah, you wonder. You
yeah,
wonder. He's still there, I think. I think he's still there, but
really.
it's a shame.
I was
But
asking Bay. I couldn't remember if it was attached to the McClatchy building or not, because I do remember now that there was a door on the other side too. You go out the back. Am I making that in my head, or do I remember that?
well, there
It
was a
wasn't
front
far.
door, and then we went straight through to the back door. Back door would let you off at Ludlow Street,
That's
and
right. Okay.
you'd be facing Lip Brothers' back door, their back entrance. Yeah,
That's right.
and there was
I
a
actually
Jack's
had.
camera behind us.
Oh, the Jack's camera.
That's right.
Yes. Oh
Yes,
my
yes,
God.
right
Yeah.
across. Okay.
Well, we
Yeah.
used to sit for days waiting for them to be developed and to see if you had a good picture, and not like today.
All instant now.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
lose them, right? If your number's picked one day and it's on your phone, nobody's ever going to see all those thousands of photos you got. So, God bless the photo match, because at least you had them look at, and pass on, right?
Negatives. I used to have a file for the negatives, a file for the pictures, and
Yeah.
Wow.
it's crazy.
So, Mike, one thing me and Chris were talking about again when we were putting this all together, like when were places like, and I think you even touched on it a little bit in your book, like Springfield Mall or Granite Mall. Was it like a competition for customers? Like, were you losing business to those, or the Bazaar, or?
Yeah, in like I think it was 74 and 75, our business dropped 60%. Because
Wow.
the Springfield Mall opened first, I think, and then Granite Run, and it really took a lot of our suburban buyers away from us.
Wow.
And yeah, because we would always have a hard time if it was bad weather. But with a
Okay.
mall, you just drive there and you go in, and it's climate controlled in there. You didn't have to worry about going in and out. So
Sure.
yeah, but we had a hard time. But that's when we actually moved to Market Street. The offer came to us during that hard time, and we figured we better take the offer because we were dying where we were, and we
Hmm.
figured, well, may as well move and try something new, and
Mhm.
it worked. Yeah.
Oh, it worked. It definitely worked.
I look back, I think, man, we were crazy. I mean, to go and do that, like if my kids told me they were going to do something like that, I think, oh man, you're crazy, But we did it, it was okay.
You created an experience for me. I know you've spoken to Bay about it, but for so many people in the area, especially kids that coming of age there,
Yeah.
I was trying to find it. I'm going to post it online for you. I bought my very first record album. I think it was Def Leppard 1983, Pyromania. I still have it. I was all proud to bring my Easter money up that I got to walk into the back on my own, without my parents there, and say I want to buy an album, and got it. So, cool memories. I just, we were saying too, just wanted to buy clothes for your generation, right? That were in there that fit you at the time.
Yeah.
And I did. You can get your pants hemmed there too, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we say I think back. I mean, Eddie Gorman, the Millers, John, Ron, Leanne. It was a girl named Lisa too. But you go in there and get your pants, pick them out. I remember getting Lee jeans specifically, and you can walk up the same day, man, and they fit. But you get your concert shirt. Sorry, I can talk so much about it, and just walking through was so cool. So I'm glad you were crazy and did that, because as you know, as you're here, you touched so many kids along the way, and grown-ups, not just kids. But it's such a cool story.
How much have you heard that, Mike? Like, especially since the book has come out.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people have probably told you that.
And I put in the book to contact us. I put an email address and I put a website, and I'm getting letters and emails from people, and it's like, oh my God. And so many people said, oh, I used to work there. And I'm like, I don't remember. I did the paychecks. I don't remember this name. Like, but I thought, all right, you work there, So yeah, it was great. That sewing machine, we bought that to sew the leather clothing, and the handbags and the fringe and stuff. And
Okay.
then when that kind of died out in the early 70s, my sister-in-law at the time, her grandmother was a seamstress. And so she invented this foot, and we took it to a metal maker, and he made it's a loop. So we put it on the bottom of where the needle goes up and down, and we could feed the jean into it, and it saved us a ton of money, because the pants, when you order the pants, they were coming in bulk, and the sizes were predetermined.
Okay.
So we started going to the factory and just buying all the longs. So we just had to worry about waist size and all the longs, and we could hem it to anybody, and then we never got stuck with a size.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but people really liked it, and it worked, and we could do it pretty much while you waited.
Yeah, that's how I remember. We walk in there and try them on, and then while they're getting hemmed, I can look at other stuff to buy. So
it was great.
That's a smart business move, though, too, because just like Chris said, you can wait, and then they're probably going to end up buying some more.
Yeah, go shop some more. But I remember all the kids coming in, and they were like sneaking around at the cases and looking, and I'm like, or you knew their mother was outside or something like that. It's like.
it was just such an experience. I think I remember you interviewing Mike and saying something about this too. The first time you go there by yourself, right? Just to look around at the cases, like the stuff in the cases was just so cool. But you could do it without having an eye over your shoulder, right?
Well, it was even worse going in there. I remember, like, I went in there once or twice with my mom, but I remember the first time going there, I was, I think, 7th grade with my mom to get my first concert shirt. And it was an Ozzy Osbourne Diary of a Madman shirt. And I just remember the look of, she was just mortified. Like, between the posters, the concert shirts, the display of smoking paraphernalia, she was just like, oh, what is he getting into?
But overall, it wasn't a bad story, as you explained,
No.
Mike. It was a cool story. I think some parents were probably nervous because they didn't know what it was, but it actually was just a cool experience, like, to walk in and walk out and say, hey, I was at the balcony today with my buddies, or I just got this at the balcony.
We were probably the first store that actually played albums and things, because some people had music pumped in, but we were actually playing. They'd come in and they'd hear Led Zeppelin, and I think the parents were like, "Oh, what's this?" And it was set the tone.
Was cool.
Yeah.
Or I loved when you a way that they kept up with the times is when the video game explosion was happening. Next thing you know, there's an Atari set up, and you can pay a quarter to play a game.
Well, we ended up having 2 arcade games in the back, and we wanted to get more, but the township said you could only have 2, or you'd have to get an arcade license. So we went and applied for an arcade license, and they turned us down. They thought it would be a bad environment. So we just hooked up all the Atari games.
I would never even heard of an arcade license. That's
new. Yeah.
Wow.
So, Upper Darby, they had a lot of crazy little rules, So.
They had to figure their way to get their pay.
Yeah. When we went out of business, we put out business signs in the window, and within a day they came and gave us a summons that you're not allowed to put out business signs in the windows without getting a permit.
What?
Like, who would have known that? Like I didn't know that. So
you need a permit to say your name.
Yeah.
Honest to God,
that's crazy.
That is. Now, Mike, how about you? Like, where was your favorite places to go shopping?
I always liked all the record stores. And there was the Krill's around the corner. Before we were selling records, he was selling, and he was giving guitar lessons and all.
Yes.
And I got the Beatles, and it was Yesterday and Today, the original album. They got it in, and then right as they got it in, they banned the album cover. That's where they had the dolls and all.
Yeah.
I had that the original album, and I got it from him. But I used to like Jerry's Records, and then I think Record Museum opened up around the corner. They were giving us competition for a while. They were near one of the, I think it's Gino's, the pizza place.
Okay.
Myron Genius. I kind of remember seeing that. Okay.
Yeah, they were in the late maybe 80s or so. But they had a record museum downtown, and then they had one in 69th Street for a short period of time. I liked them, so it was fun. And then I'd sneak out to the Bazaar, and the Bazaar was cool. And across the street from us, there, going off of Terminal Square, there was Wellington Stereo. They would install 8 tracks in your car. We all, Buzzy, Jimmy, and I, we all got an 8-track player installed in our car. You leave the car there, and they put it in with the speakers, and you have the 8-track. 8 tracks, they were continuous. So at the end, if the song would just stop somewhere, and then it would turn over, and then it would start again on the other side. Wellington Car Stereo. They were in business for a while. They did well.
Wow. How about the Sound of Upper Darby? Were they like a big competition for you guys, or?
Yeah, we didn't seem to have much trouble with that. No, they seemed to cater to a different crowd, maybe if that was possible. Yeah, because we did a lot of the imports and heavy metal, and I think they were more dance and other things. Pop. Whatever was current.
I was curious, like on big concert nights, would you, like, let's say David Bowie would come, would you rack up on extra concert shirts for David Bowie, or would you sell some to the tower to sell? Like, how would that work?
Yeah, we stocked up on anybody that was over there. We'd between the T-shirts, the albums, any paraphernalia, buttons, pictures, if we do well, and then of course everybody would come in before the show. We'd be, it would be a good night business wise.
Well, he tells a great story in the book about back in the 70s when Bob Marley came in with his group, and they shut the store down so Bob Marley and them can shop in the balcony, and next thing you know, they were all partaking.
Yeah, one of his guys went over to, we had a big giant star ashtray with sand in it.
Yeah.
And he went over and pulled out this giant joint. It was like, and it smelled. It was, back then they used to call it gunji or gunju or something.
Yeah, ganja.
That's what it was, man. And,
wow.
Yeah, I was done. We didn't reopen after it was, and then the next couple of days we had to get a fan to get the smell out. It was a stage stuff.
Bob Marley was 3 towns past on his tour, and the smell was still there.
Hey, it was a great time. That was fun.
Great story.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Did you guys get, like, I think that was like the main one in the book you mentioned, but did you get a lot of other people that would play the tower pop in, or they didn't really know what was going on over there?
A lot of the local, like the Hooters.
Okay.
There were a couple. Cinderella. The guys from Cinderella would come in. I used to do photographs, and the manager at the tower got to know me, and he came over one day. He said, "Bowie's." It was the week Bowie was there, and he says, "Bowie's having a sound check. Do you want to go over? I'll let you in." So I went in, and Bowie must have did a half an hour Beatles songs.
Wow.
I'm just sitting there in the middle, just watching it. It was like, it was unreal. It was just it was such a treat to see that. Yeah. And of course, back then you didn't have your camera with the, film and all that. Think of all the stuff I could have had.
That's an amazing story right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so much fun. And when he was coming, we all went nuts for him. We got the hunky dory, and then we had these spiders from Mars, and Buzzy, my brother, had ordered these silver shirts, and they had some kind of a thing that hung over. So when he was coming, we all thought, Bowie would like that shirt. So we went on the side, and the one night he came out, we gave him the shirt.
Oh wow!
So then the next night he wore it. And then I bought a music book. Back then they used to sell the chords and the notes and the lyrics. he was in it wearing that shirt, and it was like, how cool. We were just, got off on the fact
Wow.
that he wore our shirt. Yeah, it was cool.
That's a cool story. Yeah.
Mm,
It's an awesome story.
yeah.
So many memories that place
Yeah.
made for you and everybody else, and I'm sure not, especially you, Mike. But who would have even thought at the time that the moments that were being made?
Yeah, yeah. And then when the book started selling well, I said to the editor, because he was telling me it's selling in South Dakota.
Wow.
And I think, who the hell in South Dakota is reading my book? The balcony. And he turned to, and we were on the phone, but I could just see him physically turn to me and go, "Well, Mike, Upper Darby isn't the only town that had a head shop." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so. I forgot." Okay.
But it's the
So-
only town that had a balcony. The balcony.
Yeah,
Right? So
yeah.
that's the difference.
This is a big and a tower across the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for
Yeah,
the
it just
Netflix
worked like
documentary. Let's
magic.
do it.
Yeah.
Documentary time.
That's what I said to Mike after reading the book.
Yeah.
His life story is truly, even without the balcony, it is an amazing story, and you're just like, as I'm reading it, I was like, this is a Netflix show. This could definitely be a Netflix series without a doubt.
It's funny, the editor for the news, it's a Delaware County Magazine and Mainline Times. He just wrote an article about it,
Oh
and
wow, okay.
it's gonna be in September issues, and he talks about that. He says this should be a Netflix show, and he's saying, because he picked out the story about John, the guy who owned the record shop next door and stuff. And he says these could all be a season. Each story could be explored.
It's true.
And I'm like, wow, okay, from your mouth to God's ears, that'd be cool. Yeah.
It really could. I mean, yeah. And hey, I mean, the place is there. It could be filmed right there.
Right. They can bring it back to life. Mike,
They
is there
could.
Is there anything in? I mean, when you left it, it says nothing's been there. Did you leave anything in there? Is it, or do you think it's just the shadows and dust in there?
Oh
Did you
yeah,
have
we took pretty much everything
Cleaned it.
out. Yeah, yeah. Well, we left on bad terms because he didn't believe us that we were leaving, so
Okay.
he jerked us around a lot. So we didn't want to leave anything that he would come back and give us a hard time about.
Sure.
So yeah, we really cleaned it out pretty decent.
Then the Netflix should not be filmed there. Be filmed somewhere else like it.
That's for all the photography I did. I didn't have a lot of interior pictures.
Yeah.
And some of the guys that worked for us, I don't have shots of them. I wanted to put more pictures in the book, and I didn't even have a shot. I don't even have a photograph of the new store in the front with the new balcony sign there. So I used the Dial Shoe Store picture in the book because that's But yeah, it's funny how you overlook things when you're doing it. So
Have people taken pictures and sent them to you since the book came out?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been saving them. I'm thinking of sounding like a redux.
Okay.
Going maybe revisiting some of the older things, because after I wrote it, when this guy sent me the review he wrote for it, I read it, and I'm reading the review, and I'm like, oh man, I got to get this book. But it made me think. I didn't talk about Todd Rundgren. I didn't talk about the Hooters. I didn't talk about a lot of other stuff. Because I was really writing the politics and the dynamics of my brother and the family, and
Right.
so I didn't realize. I have people writing to me saying, "Thank you for writing the book. Thank you. It's bringing back memories," and I didn't think of that when I wrote it. I had my own agenda when I was writing it, but
Sure.
so I'm going back, and then a lot of people wanted to know what happened afterwards, and so I'm trying to space that back and forth. I didn't think afterwards was that as exciting as the balcony. I thought, So,
No, it's legendary. It's part of our lives. You put something in all of our lives with that. So,
well, thank you. Thank you.
so thank no, I mean thank you.
No, thank
Let me
you.
add on to that list. Thank you. For real, I could never talk about growing up there and not mentioning the balcony. I've said it before in the past, but
Yeah.
like just going through the list of cool things, and that's on the top of the list. So
It was like reading that book. I mean, it brought me back to being that teenager again, and I felt like I was like walking down Hampton Road after school every day to go meet my friends and do our daily shopping at the balcony and get our slice of pizza.
Yeah. And we had the best pizza. That was the best. I think that was my diet the whole time I was there.
Leandro's is still down there. That still holds
Yeah.
strong up the street. But Mario and Juno's is great too.
How about the guy I wrote about that had the bar? Is he still there? What is that bar's name?
Oh, the G.I. Joe bar.
G.I. Joe bar. Is he still there?
I, if I'm not mistaken, I think he recently passed away in the last few years. I remember
I had
seeing
heard
something
that.
online. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And something tells me his daughter had it for a while. I don't know. I remember a story about his daughter as well, but I think he did pass away.
Yeah.
He was an interesting guy. He was really
he had that red stretch car.
Yeah, the big
like
looked like a big
Excalibur.
Rolls Royce, a kit car, but yeah, Excalibur Rolls Royce or something. Why are you even on 69th Street? No roof on it. Like
I swore it was a Beetle. It was a kit, you know.
That's probably what it was.
I swore it was. It was like, you know. But he bought this fur coat from us that didn't fit him, and he wore it
every day.
Every day.
Middle of the summer.
I was like, it's like that John Lennon coat, you know, where he wore on the rooftop. I'm like, oh my God. And he's such a big guy, and
he was.
Had to put it around him, and
that's funny. As soon as you said that, I pictured him going in and out and getting into that car. And that I remember that saying to myself as a kid, like the coat was like it was like a belly coat. It was too small for him, and he was a big guy.
And he just loved, and he stood in front of the mirror looking at himself, and I'm like, dude, it doesn't fit.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Oh, that car didn't fit the neighborhood either, but
yeah,
he was one of those guys, man. So let me just make it my own.
Oh my God,
that's funny. So we have a question from our friend Hub, and you kind of touched on it. So, Mike, are you going to write a sequel to My View from the Balcony?
Yeah, we're working on it. I'm hoping maybe for everything happens in April. The store opened in April. We moved in April to the Market Street. Buzzy died in April.
Wow.
So I'd like to have it done for next April, the 2/23. So, and see what happens.
And now that you are becoming a veteran author, is this one easier for you to write, or?
It's harder. It's harder. But what I've been doing is I've been asking people to tell me what they remember too, because a lot of them have come and told me stories that I completely forgot about.
Sure.
In 19 years, you fit a lot in, and it's like, so. And I had done that in the beginning when I first started writing, but everybody just thought I was going to write about getting high and partying and, remember when we did this? Remember when we did that? And, I tried to make it a little more, so I'm hoping now that they know what I did or what the intentions were, figuring they give me the stories that I could use to blend in with everything else. So, but there were a lot of party stories in that first book, but
yeah, there was.
What's life without a party or two, right?
Honest to God, I'll tell you.
But that's so
Mike,
fun.
You may know this because I think Bay and I don't remember this. It's before our time, but we see some of these pictures of 69th Street online, like way before our time. They would have like these big events like on holidays, like almost like a circus type thing on 69th Street. They would have like big shoes with slides in them and big Easter bunnies I've seen like the size of a house. Do you remember that kind of activity?
Oh yeah. Tiny Town. It was almost up at the top of the hill, kind of before Kresge's and all.
Okay.
They had the box. They had the Santa Claus house, and Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus would say
Oh,
it was
that's right.
actually in the street.
That's right. I remember that now. Okay.
And then at Easter they had the big giant rabbit, and it was a slide. You go down, and there would be an Easter parade, and then Lid Brothers had a giant shoe, like Lady in a Shoe or Mother.
Wow.
And that would be for back to school. And they
okay.
had the slide that went down, and I think I put those in the website, because I didn't take those pictures, so I was afraid somebody. So they were on the website there. If you check the website, I think I got all 3 of those I put in.
Sure.
But yeah, kids would. 69th Street was the second largest shopping center during the 50s and 60s.
I was telling Bay this. I had relatives from Atlantic City who would come up to shop there. I mean, that's almost 2 hours away.
Yeah. Now, the first store, when he built that, it was a big deal. It was the first time there was ever office buildings on top of stores back then.
Okay.
For architecture. But the very first store would have been next door to us, where Mary Ann's ended up. It was Lord and Taylor's. That was the first store, and that was that was always a fancy, expensive store when I was growing up. But back then, when he really opened it, it was. And then I wrote about it in the book. Around the corner from us, there's a bar that was catty corner to the tower. He got like $50,000 grants, and he got the Philadelphia Art Museum to put an art museum in that section. They had and he was trying to build up an arts cultural between the music and the shows in the tower, and then this art museum on the side. So it was really. He tried. McClatchy. He was a good guy.
What is the name of that bar?
The Waterford?
Yes.
Yeah, the Waterford. That's it. Yeah.
And I just sold a house to those people. An Asian family bought that bar, and they're now in there. And they bought a house from me up in Haverford. Yeah. So they're doing pretty well there.
I remember our pediatrician was in the McClatchy building, Dr. Bender, if anybody knows him from Delco. He was my dad's pediatrician, then he was mine. But just walking in, if you'd ever gone in that building, was neat. But you could walk into all these stained glass windows as high as you could imagine, right? And then the stairwells, and then the old elevators. I don't know what's in there today, but
I think isn't it? I want to say H&M maybe is in there now, and the second floor is actually part of the store, and you can because I remember going and checking it out, and like you said, with the stained glass windows, you can actually see out them now, and it's really cool. Yeah.
Okay.
And the stained glass going up the sides are all lights. And at nighttime they would turn them on. I don't think they work anymore. But it was really cool.
Yeah, that was the McClatchy. I wish I was around in his time when he was building all that stuff. It had to be such a cool event. I see when people post up advertisements now for the buildings and homes for sale around there. It's it's super neat.
But Mike, how was that for you guys? Knowing, like you were saying, 69th Street was this prestigious shopping district that people knew from areas all around, and next thing you know, I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, you were 18 years old when you guys opened, and next thing you know, you guys are in the mix of this amazing shopping area.
It was a trip. It was really a trip. But again, we started on Terminal Square, around the corner, and then slowly went. But when he came over, McClatchy came over and said to my brother and I've been watching you guys, and I want you to take over this store, because Dial Shoe had just closed down.
Okay.
And he was a smart guy. He was trying to figure out who can go in there. And he came in the store. I had bongs all over and all the smoking papers. And I'm thinking, oh my God, to me, he probably was in his late 50s or 60s then, but to me, he was an old man,
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God. And he said, I've been watching. I want you to take this store. And then he took us up to Arnold Constable, that was in the middle of 69th Street. They had just left, and the whole store was full of racks and showcases. And he says, "You can take any of this stuff that you want," because we were saying, "Oh man, we can't fill this store. You know, how are we going to do that?" And it was really interesting. But he was quite a guy. He I don't want to bore you, but he's built almost 40,000 homes in Delaware County.
Wow.
And he built the different, anyway, where Sears was.
Okay.
You can picture where Sears was down in Milburn.
Right.
He had his own brick factory there. And he was making his own bricks to build those row homes that are all in and out of Upper Darby. It was like the guy had you know, what a mind. I mean, to make the money. He was making every end of the money. He knew how to do it. So
you guys had to feel though, like you said, how he was watching you guys, like you didn't get the feeling though, like he was just trying to blow smoke and get you guys into this space. I mean, it kind of sounds like he really genuinely believed in you guys.
Yeah. He wanted us to succeed. He was a good advocate for, you know, and and I guess he really screwed up the township's head, because the township didn't like us, you know, and here he was, one of the biggest contributors to the township. He probably brought more taxes into it, and here he is embracing us. It was like, go ahead, come in and bust me. I don't care.
That's too funny. Too funny. I don't think we can ask this one, but me and Chris again were talking about this, and Chris mentioned these two places earlier, for places that he would buy clothes for when he was on Dancing on Air. City Blue and American Pants Company. Well, how about when they opened up? Because I remember they opened in like the mid '80s.
Yeah.
Was that like, now we have a little competition on the clothing end?
Well, City Blue started in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And when he was coming, he started coming around trying to be friends with us. And what his concept was is he was doing so well in Philly, he wanted to franchise.
Okay.
So the one in 69th Street was his first franchise, where he sold they bought the name from him, and then he fed them the clothes. So he made a cut, of everything. And he was an interesting guy, again, he was a different style. Like, I don't think he really hurt us, the way that the malls hurt us,
Right.
He did well. And then I think the other one, the American Pants, they kind of came late in the game. So we didn't, maybe we were
later.
Yeah. So
I just said to Bay, it was like different phases, right? So if I wanted something to be cool in, or my rock and roll buddies, I'd come into the balcony. But if I needed something for Dance on Air, I'd wear two-tone pants, or like those skinny little leather ties with a button-up shirt with a little golden thing, right?
Yeah,
I would go there, but I would just flip back and forth for what I needed. But everything was nice.
There. Do you remember?
But I wouldn't wear my two-tone jeans in the balcony. I'll tell you
that. Do you remember Flag Brothers shoes?
Were they up towards the top of the hill?
On the right-hand side.
By Kresge's, right?
Yeah.
It was a small store.
Yeah, it was men.
Yeah.
We all went there in high school and bought our shoes there.
Yeah.
And they had the black and white shoe that, a lot of people wore back then. It was cool.
That's so funny. Such great memories. Where do people go now, though, in Delaware County to do their shopping? I mean...
Well, it's funny because usually the youth controls it or pushes the trends in the market.
Sure.
And I read in the Washington Post that this was about a year ago, that stores like the Gap and American Eagle are all having a hard time right now, because the millenniums are not spending their money on clothes. They're spending it
Yeah.
on going out to eat and on housing.
Hmm.
And like in media, they built this high rise, and there's like 100 apartments in it, and the cheapest one there's $1,700. And
Oh, okay.
when they were building, I'm like, who's going to rent this? And I went over and took the tour, and they have the workout room, they have a swimming pool, and they built them at Granite Run now. It's the same builder. If you go out there, they're near the Acme, where they're going to build another set of them where AMC Theater was out at Granite Run. So they
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is what they're doing. They're not living at home with their mom and dad anymore. They're going out and getting a decent job. And but yeah, they're not spending money on the clothes like they used to. And
No, I was telling Bay, my sister came in from Los Angeles with my nephew, he was 16 last year when we brought him. He's 17 now, and we're trying to think of something to do. I said, let's take him to the Springfield Mall, right? And we hadn't been there years. And Mike, I mean, there must have been like 5 or 6 stores open in there. Everything else was closed.
yeah.
Wow.
And I was saying to Bay, like, people are buying stuff online, making their own clothes.
Yeah.
I don't know how the mall even is open anymore, how they're paying the rent or the mortgage, because everything was closed. It's really sad,
Yeah.
to walk through like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Target does well. Maybe Macy's.
Oh yeah, Target's busy. Yeah, I'll give
Yeah.
that.
Target's always busy.
I actually saw, if you guys saw it, it was a news article online that floated around, but maybe 2 or 3 months ago, there was a mall, and I don't know where the mall was. And there was a guy just doing some construction. He went through a hole in the wall, and there was a Burger King that had been closed up for like 30 or 40 years. Where?
Concord Mall. Concord Mall on 202, yeah.
Yes, and it's been untouched.
Yeah.
As it was to like 1987 or something, and it was like just cool that they found it behind these hidden walls. It's
oh my God.
Yeah. That was just recent, like a month ago. That story
it went
came
viral
out.
online. Yeah.
So they just walked out and left it there, and somebody covered it over.
Registers and everything. Yep.
The pictures, it's like in pristine condition. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Mike, here's another question. I was going through some old like 8mm films for my family, and I saw my mother's like graduation from Upper Darby High School. And I guess she graduated maybe around 67, 68. But it was on 69th Street. The graduating class would go to the tower.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how long they did that for, and did that ever spill over into your time there? Did you get extra students coming in to hang out?
Oh yeah. And some of them we took pictures of the cap and gown. They come in and it was cool.
Did you know that, Bay?
No.
It's I gotta show you the video. It's really neat.
I think Bonner did it there.
Okay.
Maybe Upper Darby, a couple of the local ones did. Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. Didn't they? But I think I maybe saw recently within the last year or two. Didn't they start doing it again? One of the high schools graduating there.
I hadn't heard that. I'm not gonna say it didn't happen, but I hadn't heard that. I think the big news is that they took the tower off the tower. That's the biggest thing that sticks out.
Yeah, that's sad. I used to like seeing that there. Now, I was raised in Lansdowne, and we had the movie theater there. And they're redoing it. And I had heard that the Glenside Theater, they're going to pretty much start using the Lansdowne Theater. Because there's more transportation. There's the bus, the trolley, and they're closer to Philadelphia. And so I don't know when that's going to happen, but I'm really excited for that. I used to go to that theater all the time as a kid, and
yeah, me too.
It's a beautiful theater. So
I went in there. It might be about 5 years ago, and they've been doing like fundraisers over the years to build money. But I had spoken to somebody on the board there, and they were telling me like that's their plan. They're going to make it into like a concert hall, like the Glenside and Keswick, and that'll be exciting. That'll be great for that area.
Oh yeah, that'll be because they have little. They got a coffee shop, a couple of sandwich shops there. They would really do a lot for the town too.
Absolutely.
Of course, we
You
should
know,
open a balcony next door, maybe.
yes, you should. Debut the
See-
documentary at the theater.
Wouldn't that be sweet revenge? Here we are again. Just when you thought it was safe.
Did you? Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying. Speaking of the theater, I did see something today. They were just fixing something in the basement, and I'm like, I love that the community keeps working towards rejuvenating and keeping it alive, right, and
Yeah.
making it stronger. But I took my kids out last week. We were in King of Prussia. And I dropped my wife off to have some dinner with her friends. I said, what can I do with the kids? And I looked over at the Imax Theater, and it was the 40th anniversary of E.T. And I said, when could I ever take my kids to see E.T.? I saw this when I was like 12 in the theater. But
Yeah.
that was a great idea. I took them. It was a fabulous experience.
Mhm.
And now with Olivia Newton-John passing away, I think AMC theaters, some of them are
doing
replaying Grease. Now, I can only imagine, and the money's getting donated to breast cancer research, which is great. But I'm thinking that's going to draw more people to the theaters to get an opportunity to see these movies in the theaters, not just these blockbusters they do. I want to go for nostalgia. I would love to go to Lansdowne Theater and watch something that came out, in the 60s or 70s in the theater that I won't get the chance to see in a theater again,
Exactly.
And they were made to be seen in a theater, the widescreen,
Yep.
And it's like, yeah.
Mike, over the years, did you ever get like that bug of like, maybe I can give the balcony another shot?
In a way, yeah. I don't know. I was fearful that because I was older, like when I opened it, I was 18, 20, and I was tied into it, or I tapped into. I knew what was happening, and I was living the styles and the music, and as my girls were getting, they were listening to Tiffany and Debbie Gibson, and I'm like, this is not, basic roller. Like, I don't know, there's no Jimi Hendrix or Janis Joplin or anything to get hot about, it's like, so yeah, but yeah, it would have been fun. It would be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it just said it out of my mouth. Like, open a balcony next to the Lansdowne Theater. That might be a good idea. Don't tell anybody I thought of that. Okay.
If you do it, we're doing a live show for them. How's that?
Give me some time to work that up.
Hey, it could be like a little pop-up shop, just a temporary thing, a little reminiscent thing.
Open 3 nights a week or something during the shows. Yeah.
And it's where people can come and meet you and buy the book.
Buy the book. Yeah, come on in.
Get the shirts, the book, the wine. Come on.
Oh God. Very good.
Too funny. Well, Mike, this is great catching up with you always. Can't wait now. Now that we know the next one, hopefully for April.
I'll have to send you a copy before it comes out, and then when you interview me, you'll know what is in there.
Absolutely. I can't wait now. I can't wait to read that one. I think I might go back and read the old one before that one just to refresh the memory again. It's such a good book.
Well, I really, you're spoiling me here. I thought I was only 10 minutes tonight when you.
Hey, hey.
That's why you didn't realize how great the balcony was when you did it, because it was bigger, right? So
yeah.
You want to laugh? You want to laugh even more? When we were planning this, Chris kept saying to me, we got to keep it to a short thing, 15, 20 minutes. I was like, okay.
Like overall.
15, right, 20 minutes for the whole show. I was like, all right, yeah.
Oh, the whole show.
The whole show.
Yeah.
I thought it was another one like you had multiple guests and you had a.
No, I did say. I said I think Mike might get bored after a while too. He's like, oh, we'll just play it by ear. No, this has been a great hour.
See, I wasn't even going to try to talk Chris out of it. I was just like, yeah, 15, 20 minutes. We'll be good, Chris.
Yeah, I could still meet you for a drink somewhere. Very good.
I got my wine. I'm good.
So when are you coming to town, Bay? You got to come and,
I got it. I was trying to get up there the 4th of July. I just couldn't make it happen. So it could be happening around Christmas. I'm waiting to hear. I have some things. I had some offers in the wrestling world that might be bringing me up there, so that would definitely get me up there. So we'll see.
Cool.
You won't
Soon.
recognize it. Everything's getting torn down and rebuilt. So
I know.
Yeah.
the Drexel Line Shopping Center. I saw the video. I posted a video of that as they were knocking it down. I'm like, God, everything is changing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think half of it's going to be the food store.
Yeah.
The one drawing looks like ShopRite's going to blow up
Right.
and go all over.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I
And then
mean, I'll have to do one day of just that, driving back around Delco and be like, oh, see all the changes.
yeah, we'll have to drive you around and show you everything new.
We'll stop and get some pizza along the way at quite a few stops.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah.
Leandro's, gotta be Leandro's on 69th Street. Has to be.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, where I guess the website is the best place to go to get the book, myviewfromthebalcony.com?
Yes, and I think the book is on sale. I think it's $10 or $11 right now. If anybody hasn't gotten it yet, everyone else is selling it for $18.99. So, but the website has it on sale. We had a summer sale that they didn't take down. So,
very good. But it is available.
Buy it. Yeah, I would say go buy. I had it at my house. Sorry, but people were coming over that had that and the shirt, and they kept trying to steal it. Stop stealing my balcony book and my shirt. Go buy your own. It's on sale.
Oh, and if they buy it through the site, I've signed them all, so they get an autographed copy if that's important to them or not.
It's important to me.
Well, this has been fun. This has been
always
nice seeing you, Chris. This is good.
Same here, Mike. Thank you so
Really
much. You're
nice.
a great guy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again, Mike. And work on that book. Come on, April's around the corner.
I know.
We want to be in the documentary, though. Okay, we got to be in there. We're with
you. That'll be in the contract when they come and buy the rights.
Netflix. Hook us
I gotta
up.
have some, final rights over who plays who.
There you go. I'm not playing Eddie Gorman though. I'm just going to say that right now. I don't talk that much.
Ron Miller either. So
we'd have to be Steve to be Eddie Gorman.
Somebody actually, when I was posting this out earlier in the week, somebody had commented, "Oh, Eddie Gorman should be on too." I was like, we'll never get a word in.
Oh God. This is great. It's really nice. And good luck with your show. This is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we don't know how often we're going to do it. We might do it once a month. Who knows? We're going to see. But we're going to do it.
Very good.
You always have it. The door's always open. Come on back, all right? Please.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And push my new book.
A lot of Delco memories to always share.
Thanks for remembering. This has really been good.
Always, Mike. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, you're welcome. You take care, guys.
You too. Have a great night, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great
All right,
guy.
there he goes. Love that guy. So, I mean, seriously, and you know this, Chris, and people that didn't get to experience the balcony, they just don't get it. But I mean, that place truly changed lives.
Yeah. Oh my God! Just walking through, like he said, walking at the cases, like, I mean, they had things that you hadn't seen before. I mean, they're cool things, right? To young people our age, they had Chinese stars. I remember that. I'm like, oh my God, it's a real Chinese star. Like how cool is that? Of course, you couldn't grab it. Everybody was behind the protective glass, but cool things, that you just. It was part of like the revolution, I think, of our age group, right? And saying revolution, but just our age group, right? That time in music, as before it went to pop. I mean, you had like the heavy metal, you had the classic rock. That was really the heart and soul of that place. So, and plus the feeling and everything else that went around with those items. So it was cool.
And it was like, I went in that store on average 5 days a week, every day, Monday through Friday, and every day that you would go in there, you would see something new. There was always something new you would see in there
Yeah.
And it was like because there was just always so much in there.
Yeah. Cool concert shirts. That was always neat too. Because growing up, I would see people wearing them. I didn't know where they got them from until I walked into the balcony. I'm like, oh, they get them here.
There you
Because
go.
I hadn't gone to any concerts yet, but people our age, like 12, 13 years old, wearing these cool shirts. Like, oh, where'd they get that? That Iron Maiden shirt. Where'd that come from? Now I knew.
Now I know. Yeah.
That's cool.
Too
69th
funny.
Street, heart and soul of Delco, guys. My first job was also on 69th Street. Senior year, quick story. I think I told you this before. I was finishing high school at Monsignor Bonner. I found myself homeless due to situations at home. And I got my first job at Small Swimwear right at the corner across from the terminal. And
That's right.
there were several nights where I actually would work, get the trolley to school, get the trolley back, work, sleep at the terminal on a bench there. Luckily, I had friends who came along and helped me out after a while, and I finished high school. But the memories that I have there sound scary, but actually I embraced them. They were memories where I learned a lot about life and the experience I went through, but also the goodness of people around it. So props to 69th Street. Heart and soul.
There was really, I guess there was no other area like 69th Street in Delaware County.
No. One of a kind.
Yeah, so true. We were just lucky enough to be in that immediate area to not only come into each other's lives, thanks to St. Alice, but thanks to Upper Darby and Delco.
Oh, absolutely. And the balcony displays, as you were saying the names, like Eddie Gorman, Ron Miller, and them. I mean, I was from the public school system, came to St. Alice in 7th grade.
Right.
And then speaking of the balcony, Eddie was in my grade, right? He was at St. Alice with you. Ronnie was there, another great friend, And, Anthony, I met all you guys from St. Alice, but also they play a role in that balcony story. Right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known them if it wasn't for that. Bert, yes.
Bert worked at the balcony too.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, when he was part of the crew when they closed, and that last day, I kept saying to Bert, building up to it, I was in love with Samantha Fox, and there was a Samantha Fox door poster in the office. And every time like Mike or Bert or whoever would go into the office, you would see the poster. And I said to Bert, please get me that poster. Please get me that poster. And I told Mike, I said, I got it. I said, I had that.
You got it.
I had that poster for years. Yeah.
Samantha Fox.
Yeah.
She's a favorite of mine too.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't you dance with her?
I gave her a rose. She came on Dance on Air, or Dance Party at the time, Dance Party USA. And I think I gave her a rose behind the scenes, and I got a kiss on the cheek. And I will never, ever forget it. Cool memory. Yeah. A lot of cool stars I met on Dance on Air and Dance Party. Or just to be in the same room with. It was good memories, but we'll save that for another Delco memory.
Absolutely. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Give us suggestions. Hit us up. Give us suggestions on more topics to talk about. We have some other topics we're tossing around for the next episode, and be on the lookout and stay tuned for the next episode. Who knows when it'll be? In the next few weeks, it's coming soon. But let us know.
Absolutely. Delco terminology, another good idea I'm thinking of. I went to see a comedian last week, and he said a word. He's from Delco, and he said, back in the day, we had a word when we thought things were really cool, and I'll use it to wrap this up. This show was decent. How you gotta say it, right? That was a decent show, bro. Mike, you're decent. And so was the balcony. Before we hang up, can we do high five into the cross wires? Here we go. Ready? You ready? 1, 2, 3. We did it.
Did it.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and watched. We're going to wing this as we go. As he said, call it a pilot program. But a lot of things we can do. I love Bay. Good dude. Good brother.
Love you, bro.
And we'll keep it going. Stay Delco driven. Thanks, Bay.